Speaking of which.
Yeah, home game for Will Cain, and we're also talking home for Congressman Dan Crenshaw, GOP congressman making a real impact. Congressman, I get two things. Number one, people were quick to jump down your governor's throat when he lifted the mask mandate. 18 other states have lifted the mask mandate, and I sensed there was a degree of glee when you guys got hit with that freeze and your infrastructure was unprepared for it. Did you pick up both those things?
I did. Look, people are jealous of freedom, and one of the unfortunate realities of modern America is we're sort of dividing into free states versus non-free states. And as you just indicated on your show, people are moving with their feet. They want to be free, right? Now a lot of people are enticed by the Democrats' notions and sort of lip service to compassionate arguments, but in the end they want to pursue their happiness, as the Declaration of Independence gives us the right to. So, look, you would have thought that Texas made masks illegal based on the unhinged response from so many leftists on Twitter talking about murderers and killers. And look, you're siding with the virus. No more vaccines for Texas is what they said. This is really disgusting. I mean, it's disgusting on a very fundamental level. Look, I think you should still wear a mask if you can't socially distance and you're not vaccinated. But I don't want to fine or jail you if you don't. Right? This isn't that hard of a concept, guys. There has to be a contract between the governed and the government, and there has to be trust involved. And what we've lost over the last year, and especially because our public health officials have not been totally honest with us, our government officials have made emotional decisions instead of logical ones, and that trust has been broken. Lockdowns don't work. They don't work. That's why I introduced the End Lockdowns Now Act, because it's based on a premise that the science says there is no correlation between slowing the spread and shelter-in-place orders, locking down businesses. It doesn't work. It's a virus. It spreads. It's unfortunate, but it does. And I think Democrats need to listen to the science, listen to the data, and actually absorb that information and stop hurting people.
Well, lockdowns don't work except at the southern border, and they seem to work during the Trump years. But now with Joe Biden, there is this gigantic surge. They won't call it they call it a challenge. But Congressman, I think, the messaging from the White House right now is don't come now. I think they want him to come now because it's messy. But ultimately, it's going to get things going so that they can get to what they want, which is, as people in your party say, open borders.
Yeah, look, I'm done trying to read their intentions any other way. It's very, very concerning. Every step that the Democrats take, whether in legislation or in this administration, is meant to have more illegal immigration. So we want completely different things here. And this is a very sharp left turn for the Democrat Party over the last 10 years. It's very unfortunate. Look, there is a crisis on the border. Now Biden may not actually like that, right? They might want a more steady, even-handed flow over the next few years. But there's a crisis. Thousands of people. I was just down there last weekend. Our Border Patrol is overwhelmed. And the fact that they're overwhelmed, processing people, being bus drivers, being daycare workers, guess who has to foot the bill for this? Texans. Since we're on the topic of Texas, Texas DPS spends hundreds of millions of dollars a year trying to secure our border because while Border Patrol is taken off the line, they can't patrol the border anymore because they have to deal with hundreds and hundreds of people bringing their kids across the river. Well, then Texas DPS has to actually patrol the river. They have to get in helicopters and patrol there. They have to go after drug smugglers. They had 600 pursuits in just one area over the course of last year. These are really dangerous times for them. So I actually just introduced a bill that would pay Texas. It's a bipartisan bill, by the way, that would pay Texas back for the billions of dollars that we have spent on border operations that are a federal responsibility.
Oh, wow. What are the chances of getting that money? That sounds fair.
It does sound fair. You know what? We're already spending $1.9 trillion on a bunch of other nonsense.
You're exactly
I think maybe adding some money to the border might be a good investment.
I want to ask you something. When you went down to the border, I just can't fathom letting my child go. I know maybe they come from dangerous situations alone, and so many unaccompanied kids. What are their stories? How have you heard any of those stories? How are their parents allowing them to do that? I understand they know it's a better life in America, but what are you hearing?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's heartbreaking, and we have to talk about the compassionate side of this. It also demonstrates what an amazing country this is, that you can just tell your child, your only child perhaps, that if you just walk across that border, you're probably going to be okay because our country is that good. Okay, Meghan Markle, it really is that good. And you know, here's the thing: they come across. They might have a cousin. They might have an uncle. Oftentimes, they might have somebody that they think will sponsor them, a friend or something on the other side. But it's completely overwhelming to our Border Patrol. Like, this is completely unsustainable. You know, when Trump was getting a bunch of crap for the kids in cages thing, and now Biden's doing the exact same thing. Look, the lesson here is it's really, really hard to deal with thousands and thousands of minors, whether they're with an adult or whether they're alone, all at once. In fact, it's near impossible to do this well. It's a completely unsustainable situation. The reason this is happening is because Biden completely reversed the Trump administration policies of remain in Mexico and the asylum cooperation agreements with the Northern Triangle countries. These were our silver bullet, right? These created a disincentive to come because we said, look, if you're gonna claim asylum, and only about 10% of people meet the legal standard for asylum, then go to the local consulate, go to the local embassy, wait here in Mexico, we will adjudicate your claim, but you can't just come in here, get a bus ticket anywhere, and then, you know, not show up for your deportation hearing when it's shown that your asylum claim, you know, isn't valid. That's unfair. And you know who it's unfair to? Legal immigrants, for one. It's also unfair to millions of people around the world who can't just walk across the border, who have truly valid asylum claims. We're clogging up our system for people who really need it, and it's just not fair. It's not moral.
And the thing is, when you talk about comprehensive immigration reform, it starts with border security, and you were getting it. And you had money for the wall. It's already been spent, and now you're paying penalties not to build it. Then you turn around and make it easier maybe for these people to get here legally. But you're saying that people from triangle countries are more important than people from Nigeria, from Zambia, from Costa Rica, from Norway, from around the world. You're saying they're more important. So that's who this, and Brazil, that's who this should be about. We can only bring in so many people. You could do it legally or illegally. Don't think you're going to come back and talk to Republicans about immigration reform when you refuse to enforce the border. We've seen this movie since 1985.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And we have to foot the bill for it. And look, it's reversible. This is a completely solvable problem. You have to actually reinstate those cooperation agreements with our partners, which is Mexico, Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador. They want to work with us. They
there should be somebody there now, Dan. There should be somebody there now meeting with all these three countries.
Yeah, exactly. But the Biden administration doesn't want to. Look, I mean, their plan, and they have a plan in place. They've already released it, and it does involve giving illegal immigrants citizenship and voting rights. Why? Because they want them to vote for them. I mean, that's a cynical, proposition, but I don't know how else to interpret it. I think it's true.
Speaking of voting, later today, the House could actually vote on that $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill. And Nancy Pelosi, I've got news for you, Mr. Crenshaw. She can see through what you Republicans are trying to do. Listen to the soundbite, and then we're going to get your opinion.
I'm so excited. I just can't hide it. All of it excellent. All of it fair. All of it an opportunity for us to grow the economy by investing in the people, for the people. For our Republican colleagues who they say no to the vote and they show up at the ribbon cuttings or the presentation.
So she says Republicans are going to vote no when it counts, but then, when people come out and see folks at the ribbon cutting or the mall opening, you Republicans are going to take credit for all that dough.
Well, the thing is this money isn't being invested in you or your economy. And look, if you're really happy about getting a $1,400 check, again, imagine that, right? Giving free money to people is popular. I get that. Yeah. But here's the thing. It's costing you $5,700, give or take. And if you're not paying for it, your kids are. Look, if this is really as popular as the Democrats say it is, we're in a lot of trouble as a country. It means that we have fully given in to this notion that we should be bribed by our government for false promises. And that is not an American thing to do. We have to collectively stop doing that. It's going to destroy the next generation. It's already threatening to cause massive inflation. Here's the other thing about this bill. There's already trillions, hundreds of billions, about $1 trillion left unspent from past relief bills. Okay, there is money in the PPP fund that could go to small businesses if you change the standards of how they get it, right? That would be smart, okay? Half of this money won't even be spent until 2022 or later. It is an absolute lie for them to say that this is an emergency relief bill that goes and invests directly into people. It is for a lot of different nonsense that has nothing to do with COVID. Only 9% of it has to do with COVID healthcare. Only about 1% is for vaccine distribution. These people are just lying, and we can't keep falling for it as Americans. We cannot keep believing this falsehood that the size of your heart is attached to dollar signs, right? And whoever's willing to spend the most money, of your money, by the way, is somehow more moral. This is simply not true.
I think that's what a lot of people are upset with. They don't mind the 9%. They don't even mind the checks. That's wonderful if it's going to bless the lives of other people. Yeah, but it's all the extra pork that's just thrown in there, and they can do it because everyone's getting a check.
We're preserving Native American languages. It's an emergency. Everyone's forgetting them. For $10 million, we'll remember them. Fantastic.
And look, we fell for this too as conservatives. I remember in December, I remember a lot of people wanting $2,000 checks, but look, it doesn't mean it's good policy. There is no free money. Yeah. And here's the thing, those free checks are going to go to well over 100 million people who never lost their job at all, who've just been working from home. That's true. So is this really what we need to be doing? Is this really good policy? No, I mean, I don't think it is.
All right. Dan Crenshaw joining us today from D.C. Dan, thank you very much.